Hey everybody, Cinephile Mike, your friendly neighborhood cinephiles here, and this is episode 13 of Oscar Rewind 2024 edition, my bi-weekly series of videos where I revisit the earlier works of this past year's Oscar nominees and winners. My hope with these videos is that you will rediscover an old favorite or maybe find something new. You never know, right? There's so many amazing films out there. I will be discussing the film's award season history, its ratings, box office information, and as always, the reviews are spoiler free. So, today I am discussing Think Films' Half Nelson. Written by regular collaborators Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck, and directed by Fleck, this Brooklyn based drama was released in the fall of 2006. Now, the film was the feature film expansion of Boden and Fleck's short film Gowanus Brooklyn, which had been released in 2004. Now, during the feature film's full length theatrical release, the film made a total of $4,660,481, with $2,697,938 coming in domestically and $1,962,543 coming in from the international box office. Now, on Rotten Tomatoes, the film has a slight bit of separation with an audience score of 82% and the critical score being higher at 91%, certifying it fresh. Let's see if I agree. Half Nelson lands on Rewind this season as a result of its energy. Yes, he was Knuff at this year's Oscars with both his stellar performance of I'm Just Ken and brought great timing with Emily Blunt during their tribute to stunt performers. At this year's Oscar ceremony, Ryan Gosling was recognized with his third nomination for Best Supporting Actor in Barbie, but Half Nelson was his first of his three nominations, where he was nominated for Best Actor, which was also the film's sole Oscar nomination. However, it had some other successes in its run. Both Gosling and his co star Sharika Epps, who was 16 and making her feature film debut, and originating her role in the short, were nominated for Best Actor and Best Young Actress, respectively, at the Critics' Choice Awards, and they both won Best Male Lead and Best Female Lead at the Independent Spirit Awards. Now, these were the two wins of the six ISA nods that the film had, also being nominated for Best Feature, Best Director, Best First Screenplay, and the Producers Award. Now, in addition to his Oscar nod, Gosling won the Breakthrough Performance Male Award from the National Board of Review and was nominated for Best Actor at the SAG Awards. The film itself was also named one of the top independent films of 2006 by the National Board of Review. Half Nelson is the story of two people, right? We have two leads. One is Dan Dunn, a middle school social studies teacher in Brooklyn who lives a simple life in his small apartment and goes through the paces of his job, where he has one view on how to teach his class, which sort of goes against how the administration wants him to move, but he has a good rapport with his students. And what also helps with this popularity, he also serves as the girls' basketball coach. So several of his students in his class are also on the team. So this adds a little bit of the popularity. Now, one of these students on both the team and in his class is Dre, the other main player in our story, played by Epps, a young woman dealing with her less than ideal in her mind life, living with her single mother who is very overworked, an absentee father, and now an absentee older brother who is in jail for dealing drugs at the hands of Frank, a local drug dealer. But she does have a good relationship with Dan and enjoys being on the team. And the film will follow these two as their lives interweave as a result of one instance, which happens after a basketball game where Dre walks into a locker room and catches her favorite teacher, Mr. Dunn, freebasing cocaine on the floor. Yeah. Startled, Mr. Dunn addresses this, but he says that it is not a problem. And from here, Dan and Dre's relationship truly develops into a real paternal relationship, with Dre looking for the father figure she needs that she doesn't have in Dan. And Dan ends up feeling very protective of Dre, offering her rides home after school because she maybe lives a little far away. And there are some influences in her neighborhood that maybe aren't some of the best. But this lack of oversight in Dre's life puts her right in Frank's view now. Now Frank believes that Dre is a part of his family. He's a part of theirs. Dre's older brother worked for him, and he wants to make up for it. And he tries to bring Dre into his world to become a drug dealer. And Dan is not okay with this, despite his habits, and they will go about dealing with this information in different ways. And what will follow is a series of events that will strain how Dan and Dre relate to one another, save the outside challenges pulling them in different directions. That's where I'll leave it on the synopsis. Now, Half Nelson is a very unique film in that it very carefully crafts a character study for you to watch. Boden and Fleck's script is grounded in reality to present two characters who are not happy with their life and trying to get by. And there were even times where and I've said this before on some of these reviews, I'm a teacher, and there were moments when I was looking at this and I'm like, no, let's not do that. Nothing inappropriate like a relationship between a student and a teacher. I'm not saying that. But the rides home and some of the conversations, I'm like, oh, that's blurring a line. But you understand because these two people are in such a need that it kind of works. And Gosling creates a very sympathetic character who, while he makes some bad decisions, you don't want to damn him for them. But as an audience member, you're hoping that he's going to find his way out of this to fix things, even if it's not clear as to whether or not he's able to get himself out of this. Epps' Dre is also very good in her role, too, that in moments that could be played a little larger than life, which we sometimes see with teen actors trying to go a little bit big, one of the best things that she does is she underplays so much of this, getting her point across, and does a good job where it really shows how Drake can stand up to the adults that she's up against, including Gosling and Frank, played by Anthony Mackie, who plays our drug dealer with enough charm that you almost don't want to believe that that's what he does on the side. Now, the film moves along at a very good pace and fully develops the plot line between Dan and Dre, building to its conclusion, where we're left wondering what's going to happen next, but we are satisfied with what we see. We get insight into their lives individually, so we get fully fleshed out characters where nothing feels cheated. Boden, who also edited the film, provides good use of switching between the plot lines to balance the story, which was shot very nicely in all its natural light settings and tones by Andrzej Perek, the cinematographer. He frames shots in a way that highlight the surroundings that the characters are dealing with. Boden and Fleck created a nice story here, and as their first feature, their work has grown. And I will say I'm not reviewing it here, but I was also a huge fan of Captain Marvel, which was their first foray into the MCU. So, in all, Half Nelson is a solid, great character study film that, for me, is a 5 out of 5 star film and worth the watch if you haven't seen this one. It's one there, if you've seen it once, that might be enough, but if you haven't seen it that once, go for it. Or if you're like, I don't really remember it, it's worth that one rewatch. If you would like to catch Half Nelson, you can catch it streaming exclusively on Peacock. So, there we have it for today. Hope everyone is enjoying Oscar Rewind. Please, if you like what you heard, subscribe to the channel, spread the word. Is there a film you're hoping I'm going to get to this season? We've got several more months. Let me know in those comments. You never know. Might invite you to come and review it with me. You can follow me, Cinephile Mike, on all social media platforms. Then on Letterboxd, let's talk movies. You know you want to. All right. Happy watching, everyone. And until next time, this is Cinephile Mike saying take a break and watch something new.